Hey, what's going on, Detroit Lions fans? It's your co-host, Coach Mike Jones, and I say co-host because usually this is Kurt Steele's, platform here when he does kind of his lives on Fridays. But Kurt is under the weather right now, so hopefully Kurt has a speedy recovery. Hopefully it's nothing too bad, man. But I'm here to kind of bring you guys a little recap on what's been going on in free agency. So. Hey, before you start, man, like the video, share the video, help us get this content out to more Lions fans just like yourself. We on our march, man. We trying to get to 3,000. Okay, we are trying to get to 3,000 subscribers, and only you can help. I mean, we can point you to the water, but y'all got to drink it. You know what I mean? But let's get into the free agent signings for the Detroit Lions. Let me pull them up here real quick. Um, let's start off with our Lions because we do one thing that Brad Holmes does is he signs our own, right? So he did re-sign linebacker Derek Barnes to a 3-year, $25 million deal with 16 million is guaranteed. Um, so you know that Derek Barnes. He did sign. Also, we signed linebacker Ezekiel Turner, which was kind of a surprise to me. But he's a good depth piece. Good special teams player. Good guy to come in and kind of fill in when the injuries pile up. Um, Detroit Lions also signed Marcus Davenport, defensive end Marcus Davenport, who was, he was a victim of, I believe, the Arizona Cardinals offensive lineman doing that, man. So even though he hasn't been quote unquote healthy in recent years, he actually missed the time because of a freak accident. So you know what? Because he got his triceps tore, man, on a play where the guy who did it actually got suspended and fined. So you know, that's that's something, man. Also, Trevor Nowatzki was re-signed. Trevor Nowatzki stepped up and he played well. Maybe he'll play a little bit better, with time because he did get better with the more time that he had. So maybe now that he gets reps as being a linebacker, like in the core, kind of you're one of the guys. Maybe he will step up and get a little bit better. Um, Also, we re-signed Dan Skipper. Skip. Skipper is becoming a Detroit legend, man. He's really becoming like a staple on this team. Even though he's a swing tackle, he's kind of the backup guy. He's becoming a staple on this team, man. The Lions also signed a key piece. I think it's a key piece, and that's Levi Onwuzurike. I think he's very, very key, especially the fact that he actually was healthy all of last season. And, with Elaine McNeil possibly missing the first 6 weeks, maybe even a little more, I think Levi Onwuzurike was a very good signing. He's a guy who can move inside, and he showed that he put on weight, which is good because if you have back problems that are lingering, you can't put on weight. You actually have to lose weight. So he actually put on about 15 pounds, and he was actually able to move to the outside. So he played some 5 tech and 7 tech on the outside of the defensive end. So his versatility to move from the 3 tech to the 4 eye to the 5 tech and play situational 7 tech is that's big, man. He has a lot of versatility. Let's see here. Who else did we sign? Oh, we signed Roy Lopez, defensive tackle Roy Lopez out of Arizona. And one thing about Roy Lopez, he sounds like he's inviting the challenge. Like he accepts the added responsibility of the Detroit Lions. He sounds like he's been waiting for that responsibility to be on his shoulders. So shout out to Roy Lopez. That guy is I think he's gonna be a decent player for the Detroit Lions, man. I really do. Um Also the Lions signed DJ Reed, cornerback out of the New York Jets, who was formerly with the Seattle Seahawks. You know what, DJ Reed, I was kind of like, he's a good player, but and I'm looking at his height, and I'm like, man, but you know what? You can't really look at people's height because what does that really say? Like Meek Robertson he's a dog. He plays well. He's 5'9", the same height as DJ Reed. DJ Reed has been playing on the outside opposite of Sauce Gardner. So you know what, DJ Reed is ready for the challenge. I'm sure he's faced that. You're not tall enough. His whole career. If you're in the NFL and you're 5'9", you've been facing that. So, and the fact that you're still in the NFL, you're still making money. What does that say? That means us regular fans, we'd be worried looking at that type of stuff. But it kind of is what it is, man. Let's see here. The Lions ended up re-signing, or end up signing five linebackers. Out of the 10 players the Lions signed, they have five linebackers. Okay, so that should let you know something. This doesn't seem like it's a very deep linebacker draft class or free agency class because the Lions signed five of them. So out of the 10 players that were signed, so Miles also defensive tackle Miles Adams, who he grew into his position. I think he got better with every game, more reps. His engine goes and it's nonstop. I think he's a Brad Holmes type of player. DJ Reed, who I just mentioned, he also sounds like a Brad Holmes type of guy. Um, I watched DJ Reed and Roy Lopez press conferences and yesterday, and they both sound like Brad Holmes type of guys. Like I'm talking about, they just sound like that is what Brad Holmes is looking for, and those type of guys who love football and who are open to the opportunity. And man, shout out to those guys, man. Um, let's see here. Do we have any more signings that we had? Let's see here. Oh, so we can talk about a few lines that left. Um, Ifatu Melifonwu, he left and he signed a deal with the Miami Dolphins, which was 1 year, $4 million. Um, Maybe the Lions. I mean, $4 million doesn't seem like a lot of money, so I don't know if he just Lions were kind of through with him. But I kind of thought that when I first seen it, that the Lions could have matched that $4 million offer, or maybe they did, and maybe if he just wanted to go down south, man, and be in the good environment, the good weather. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. Also, Lions lost right guard Kevin Zeitler to the Titans. He signed a 1 year, $9 million deal. A lot of people are saying, "Hey, it's Christian Mahogany's time," and I do believe so. I do believe Christian Mahogany will start this year. The only thing is, I'm thinking about is Graham Glasgow. He proved in that playoff game, and a few times in the season that he's just not that guy anymore. He's a good swing guy. He's a good backup center guard. Kind of the first guy to come in if one of our interior O linemen go out. But I fully expect the Detroit Lions, if they stay at 28, or if they trade back a little bit, to actually take a guard first with their first pick, whether it be at 28 or whether they trade back. I think they'll take a guard. I think the offensive line is the most dominant part of the Detroit Lions, and I think they're going to keep it that way. I don't think that they're going to take a step back. The offensive line is the bread and butter, and yeah, I just see the Lions. They're gonna go forward. Like they know what their strengths are in that team. Now O line has been dominant, and it's everything for the Lions. So let's see here who else the Lions have. I think that's about it. Um, you know, I can say, Carlton Davis. Um, You know what? Carlton Davis was not the cornerback one in Tampa, but that's because Tampa was playing a lot of zone. That Tampa 2 as a lot of teams call it now. It's a zone scheme. Carlton Davis is the main corner, and he left. He got a 3 year, $60 million contract, and he got 34.5 million in guarantees. And I just don't think the Lions were gonna pay a guy 20 million a year when you're not there for the end of the season. Um, he wasn't there for the end of the season with the Bucks the year before. He was injured, and then and when it meant the most, he wasn't there for Detroit. He was a good player. You could put him on the island. He's gonna play, compete. He'll probably give up a few, but he'll stop a few. And I just don't think the Lions were willing to give him. I think the Lions put a cap on it. I think that cap was probably around 15 million. But he got 20 million a year. So shouts out to him. He showed his appreciation at Detroit. But you know what? When you're a guy who's going to kind of be that middle of the pack guy. You're not really an elite corner, and you're gonna get 20 million a year. Go get your money, man. You know what I'm saying? Go get your money. So I'm not mad at it. Another guy the Lions did release, who I think they will be picking back up, is Zadarius Smith. Password is Zadarius Smith. They saved $5.75 million in cap space by releasing Smith. He had 1 year remain on his 2 year, $23 million contract he signed with the Browns. Um, so I do think the Lions might bring him back. I do have a good feeling they'll bring him back. I just think it'll be at a cheaper price, and then they won't have to pay that guaranteed, that guaranteed money. So you know what? I do think he's coming back. I really do. So with that being said, the Lions have not been overly active as a lot of people would like. And I've been seeing the rumblings, and some people have been kind of hard on the Lions, and then some people have been kind of, like, hey, we're just, we're staying the boat, and you know what, I feel both sides. So but the free agent signings, I think they were necessary. One thing that you do that you do acknowledge is that people who sign a lot of free agents and have a lot of turnover are not usually good teams. Like I mean, if you have to go out and sign a lot of big name free agents, you have to go out and sign a lot of guys. You really want a good team then. I mean, be honest with you. I mean, if you look at any of the successful teams like Kansas City Chiefs, who have they signed? They haven't really signed that many people. Philadelphia Eagles they're losing guys like that. There's guys that have left from Philadelphia. So there there's guys that have been San Francisco 49ers kind of had a down year, but guys are leaving San Francisco. So um, with that being said, people, the Detroit Lion fans are split right now. Okay, they're split because one side is happy with the success and happy to compete. They've seen the Lions lose for a lot of years, a lot of years. They haven't seen any consistency. It's finally here, and they're happy with that consistency. Okay. Then there's fans who will say, "Look, man, we're right there. Make a move to put us over the top and go for that Super Bowl. We don't want to just be good because then we'll just be like the Buffalo Bills, right? We want to do like the Rams did or like the Bucks did a few years ago when they won the Super Bowl and just go for it. Make that move to go for it." And I just want to let you know that both are right. Like I've been seeing the bickering back and forth on Twitter, on Facebook, and you're both right. on YouTube videos. Like there is no there. One side is not right and one side is not wrong. Both sides are right. Because at the end of the day, you both want to see the Detroit Lions in a good position. You want to see a successful team. You both want to see a Super Bowl. You both love to see the Lions winning. I just think one side of that argument is kind of, hey, let's go for it. Like let's you know what? Hey, let's let's go on and go for the gusto. And then the other side is like, we're good and we can't really jeopardize that because if you know, we could jeopardize not signing a lot of guys. And one knock that I will say that one I wouldn't say one knock, but one thing I'm kind of worried about with Brad Holmes is that the way he's trying to do it, there's gonna have to be some type of variation in that way. And what he's trying to do is, and which I don't blame him, okay, but he's trying to give his draft picks the big contracts, okay. So if you see Amon St. Brown, Jared Goff, Panay Sewell, Kirby Joseph here coming up soon, um, they are going to get the big contracts, and then he's trying to basically kind of pluck guys in free agency, kind of cheap guys who can come in and play. But if you really dive into it and you look at what moves have recent Super Bowl champions made, Philadelphia Eagles, right? They got Saquon Barkley. They got AJ Brown. Those are two of the that was the highest paid receiver, and Saquon Barkley is the highest paid running back of free agency in those years. Okay. The Rams, right? Matt Stafford, like he was high, like very high paid. I'm not sure if he was the high, but he was the high paid free agent. In the trade, I should say. Um, Tom Brady in the Bucks, right? Very high paid free agent. Um, so that whole draft, and then you'll get a bunch of cheap guys. It'll give you long term success where you'll be able to pay guys, but will it put you over the hump? I'm not saying it won't, but will it put you over the hump? I don't know, man. If you look at the recent past, and I can say it hasn't. And if you look, people are like, "Oh, the Philadelphia Eagles drafted that whole." They didn't draft that whole team. They didn't draft the whole team. Okay. Just be AJ Brown, Saquon Barkley, Darius Slade, CJ Gardner Johnson, like Zach Vaughn. Like there's a lot of free agents on that team who came in, who weren't originally on that team. They drafted up front their offensive and defensive line, a few of their linebackers, but it just hasn't been all through the draft. Okay, so Brian Holmes' approach, sustained success, yes. Super Bowl, I don't know. We can't say. We can't. And the thing is Lions fans who are like, who, yeah, we're gonna draft our way to Super Bowl. We have no proof of that yet. Now we do have proof of success because we were 3-13-1, and then we were 9-8, and then we were 12-5, and now we're 15-2. Okay, so um, we do have something to be like, look, this is how you sustain success. This is he steadily built every year. Okay, so but I know the pinnacle, right? So the other side of that, I know the pinnacle. We want a Super Bowl, right? So what move is Brad Holmes gonna make to guarantee that Super Bowl? And me personally, if you were just to ask me, I think that Brad Holmes would actually make a trade deadline type of move. for maybe a big name. I think that's where that comes into play. I don't think he's willing to pay a guy for a whole season, but I think he is willing to pay a guy for that playoff run. So at the midseason trade deadline, I do believe the Detroit Lions will make a move to put them over the top. I just feel like I think that's the smartest way to really do it because then you're guaranteeing that that guy's healthy, right? Nothing freakishly wrong happens in the beginning of the season and he's out for the season, and you know what I'm saying. So I'm hoping that that's what the Lions are planning on doing. Hope that's what Brad Holmes, Ray Agnew have been talking about. I hope that is in the plans. Dan Campbell that is in the plans that the Lions at the trade deadline will make a few trades that will kind of push them over the top because the rest of the NFL, well, just the rest of the division is catching up. Um, you know, and we can't take the success for granted. We can't just say we're always going to be here because we spent 30 years not being there. Okay, so we've been here for the last 2 years. Okay, now what do we have to do to get us over the hump? That is really what is what's is it going to get us over the hump? Um, I don't know. You can leave a comment in the comment section, man. Do you think what the Lions is doing is good, or are you waiting for the Lions to do something different? Are you waiting, not necessarily something different, but are you waiting for the Lions to make that move, or are you content with the Lions and where they're at? Are you just happy with success from the Lions because we've been so unsuccessful for so long? So let me know in the comment section which side you stand on. Okay, because they're both right. Okay, we both sides want to see the Lions win. I stand on both sides. I feel both. Like I love the sustained success, but I also want to see a Super Bowl. So, I don't know, man. But hey, leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what side of the fence you stand on, okay? And don't be nervous. Don't be scared, man. It's like I said, man, we're both right. We're all Lions fans. Just because you believe there's one way and another person believes there's another way, it doesn't matter. There's no point in arguing. We both want the same thing, and that's the Lions to win and a successful team. But one thing you can do for me, man, you can follow the crew real quick, man. Uh, we all over YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can look at Kurt Steele 14, LL Cool Torrance on My High Media. I'm sure his Thirsty Thursday was popping yesterday, man. And you look at me, I'm actually starting to convert a lot more stuff over to the Boss Up Ball Out Network. I'm kind of doing things here and there at Wolverine Sports Talk, but most of the content that I'm making is on the Boss Up Ball Out network. So stay tuned, man. But like I said, man, just be calm, be cool, be good Lions fans, man. Don't be, arguing and bickering about this and about that, man. We all want the same thing, okay? But you know how we gotta end the show. Um, thank you for tuning in to the Boss Up Ball Out podcast. Hopefully Kurt still be back on Monday. And man, whatever you do in life, you gotta boss up, ball out, and be the best you that you can be. I'm Coach Mike Jones. Hey, peace.